Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Damsel in Success podcast. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. I've got the best message for you. It literally just happened, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to tell everybody about this occurrence, because if I hadn't have been there, I would not have believed it, okay? So, we've all heard the phrase that you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, right? It kind of makes sense because, you get the gist of it. You get more by being nice, but nobody really wants flies, but I digress. But anyway, I know there are a couple of cable companies that are kind of notorious for not having great customer service, right? Well, I just so happen to have one of those cable companies. And I checked my bank statement earlier. I try to balance my checkbook every Friday to make sure that I'm right on track and I didn't miss anything. Well, my cable bill was about $60 more expensive than it's supposed to be. So I was like, well, that's weird because it didn't say anything about it on my statement. It didn't say, I didn't get any kind of notification, no letter. My first thought was, oh my gosh, the kids have bought a bunch of pay-per-view, something. And then I was like, wait, what if they just upped my bill and blah, 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 blah. Well, thank God I checked that statement during my lunch break. And I was like ticked at first. I was like, man, oh no. Well, then I got to thinking about it. And I had wrote in one of my journal points. So remember savers. So the last S, the scripture and journaling. One of my journal points was that I was going to stop and have some discernment over if something upsets me or gets me irritated or whatever. I'm going to stop. I'm going to pray for some discernment. I'm going to pray for peace. And I'm going to have a new intentional perception and mindset going into something that could be potentially not good, right? So I waited till I was on the way home. That way there would be no distractions. I would just be driving and having to talk to these lovely people at the cable company, right? So get a hold of the first guy. I'm like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. Can you please help me? Sure. So turns out what happens is your promotional offer ended. I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's all right, that's pretty unfortunate. I said, hey, is there anything you can do to help me? He was like, no, but I know somebody who can. So, sends me to another bunch of folks. They're called the Loyalty Group, okay? I talked to the most amazing guy in Los Angeles. His name is Dell, and he has a multi-poo named Spud. And I talked to this guy. I was on the phone with him for about just a hair over an hour. Yeah, because I got home right about 6:30, and it's about 7:45 now. So I was on the phone with him about halfway home, and then up until literally just a few minutes ago. So I told Dell what was going on. I was like, look, here's the dealio. I'm cheap. Please help me. And we talked back and forth. Hey, we talked about our dogs, and I was telling him, this is what I need, this is what I don't need. I've got to keep my internet. Don't really care anything about the cable. He says, well, you need to keep the cable because it gives you a bundle and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, listen, you're the professional. You just tell me what I need to do. And he says, unfortunately, all of our promotions right now are only for new customers. He was like, but if you just so happen to go online and you tell me about a promotional offer that you saw, I might be able to help you. I was like, Dell, are you telling me to go online right now? And he's like, oh, well, that's up to you, ma'am. And I'm like, Dell. So get online, and I found a promotional offer. And guess what Dell does? Dell makes it happen. Dell gives me an even better offer than I had before. Way better. And then you know what else he does? Oh, guys, this is like the cherry on top. Listen to what Dell does. Dell gives me a statement credit. A statement credit for next month because I was hit with this overage. Because I did not see it coming. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. So think about that, guys. Think about how negatively that could have went, okay? I know we've all dealt with some pretty rough customer service before. And think about it. Maybe that person was having a really bad day. It's okay to have a bad day. We hold other people in customer service roles to such a high standard. And don't get me wrong, they're getting paid to be nice to you. So yeah, they should kind of toughen up a little bit. But we have to remember that these people are just that. They're people. And they don't want to be talked down to. That guy probably got yelled at and cussed at and called everything and just horrible nonsense. But because, if you go at a situation with a little bit of discernment, if you go with a little bit of grace, you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. I swear to you. Get a hold of Dale over at the cable company. I think that's kind of funny that it's like a computer too, because I asked him, I was like, I'm kind of a redneck. So are you saying like Dale, like Earnhardt, or are you saying like Dale, like a computer? Because I don't know what you're saying to me, Dale. And he's like, no, it's Dell, like the computer. So it was great. He was amazing. Best guy ever. I will never, ever, ever forget Dell. I told him, I was like, look, I need your manager's number. I'm going to call her and I'm going to tell her how awesome that you are, because you are amazing and you need to be recognized. And isn't that something that, you know what? No, I'm going to save that for another day, because I'm so hyped up over Dell right now. I just can't even stand it. So you guys just think about that. Next time that you have to make maybe a not so great phone call, you are in control of it. You can dictate how that entire phone call goes. I promise you. And if you just be nice to people, as somebody, as a recovering corporate slave, as somebody who has had to deal with the general public, I promise you, if you be nice to the customer service representative, you will get way farther than if you are a jerk. So that's all I have for you this evening. I hope everyone has an amazing Friday night, and I will talk to you again soon.